So I'll start. So I gave some information yesterday for those that are here. If you missed it, maybe talk to me later about the things that you're missing. But I'll just start with a little bit of historical perspective. This is basically what most of the city looked like without water. This is the northern half of the city, Santa Monica Mountains. We're somewhere right in here. And this is a map showing the areas without water on shortly after the earthquake. Most of those lost water within minutes after the shaking, or even during the shaking in some cases, I would presume. Up in the upper corner over here on your right is a summary of all of the damage. Just to summarize it, we had over 80 large diameter pipelines. So we have 7,000 miles of pipelines in the city of Los Angeles. We have over about 400 miles of large diameter. That's 2 feet diameter to 12 feet in diameter. So that 12 feet would be 2 of me. So put me on me, or put John on me, and that would be 12 feet in diameter, right? So we have very large pipes. And so we lost almost 2/3 of a million people are in this area, and the colors represent the days that the water is restored. As I mentioned yesterday, we got all water back to customers, at least to their tap, within 7 days, and it all met public health requirements within 12 days. And for this particular earthquake, because of that, we consider ourselves resilient, but we had 80 repairs to be done on these large diameter pipes. We did that by making 8 repairs to the large diameter pipes. That's what made us resilient. High redundancy, great isolation capability, repair 10% of your major infrastructure, and you can restore the operability, and the customers get what they need in a relatively short period of time. It took us 9 years to repair everything else, right? So you didn't know what we were doing, but you didn't need to know. That's a resilient infrastructure. We aren't necessarily that way for every event. We're concerned about some events. This is the metrics for different types of services. So we break it down into water delivery, quantity, quality, fire protection, and functionality. I went over that a little bit yesterday. And so we got help from, that truck right there is providing water to customers that didn't have it. They can come find those. They were able to get water also from Miller Brewing Company, Anheuser-Busch, Coca-Cola, Red Cross, FEMA, ourselves. There were a number of different people and organizations that just stepped up and said, we need to help the community, which was awesome. So that was all voluntary. Some photos of what caused the damage. So I showed you this one yesterday. We had rivers in the street because two very large diameter pipes, in this case, our aqueduct. Up in the corner, our city trunk line throwing water 40 feet in the air, higher than these very, very large trees, by the way. Some of the damage that you see, this was one of the pipes that broke in here. That's a buckling on our aqueduct. I showed you this pipe. I show it again because John Bray was saying, oh, that was liquefaction from the San Fernando Dam, which it wasn't. That's actually, for those that really want to know, that pipe is in bedrock trench. It's not in liquefied soil. Although the soil around it actually did liquefy because of the water, the sand bedding, but not from the lower San Fernando Dam. Our aqueduct channels, dikes, and levees, the bridge for our outlet tower offset and was unsafe, our tanks, and so we had all kinds of different damages that we needed to isolate and get things back into service in a timely manner. So what has changed since 1994? That impacts our water resilience. So, of course, technologies and modeling capabilities. The modeling capabilities, I refer to things that much of this audience is continually developing and utilizing. The technologies were already brought forward. Rob, I think, did a very good job, and I'm referring to similar types of things. There's also some pipes and so on that are new technologies that we're helping to develop that I'll show a video on soon, if this works. There's been a lot of research advancements. Again, speaking to the audience, a lot of that comes from people like yourselves. The perceptions and understandings of what is community resilience is completely changed. Although resilience as a concept was out there, it was mostly in the ecological field at the time of 1994. It was soon thereafter MCR came in and started doing research on resilience and has really made leaps and bounds those initiating steps on what is engineering resilience and system resilience, and that actually got me my start. I had an opportunity to work with them and been thinking about how researchers don't actually understand resilience ever since. So a lot of what I do is all around what is the definition of resilience, and do we even really understand it? What is a resilient water system? Those are continuing to evolve, and the advances we're making there are huge. Addressing the time component of response. So do we need to mitigate something because it's hazardous, or do we need to mitigate it or because it's vulnerable? Not necessarily. But we need to think about, well, if we don't, will we be able to restore the services in a timely manner? You can repair everything after an event. It just takes a longer time. So how do you choose those things? So the time component of resilience has really been more and more embedded into the organizations. Understanding the need for performance goes beyond the life safety. We know that. We talked a lot about that yesterday, that the socioeconomic impacts are really, really important, and those advancements have been huge in understanding where to go with resilience. The shakeout scenario was just a game changer. So I shouldn't even ask this. There isn't anybody in here from the USGS. I almost asked if there were. I should know that. We were talking about that yesterday. But that was a game changer. I think, is there anybody from the CGS here? Okay, well, the USGS and CGS and all the researchers that worked on that were huge relative to understanding at a different level, because that's a different type of an event than the Northridge event. And then, of course, Resilience by Design and Resilient Los Angeles has been a game changer. It got me my current position that I've had since 2014. But what are we doing? So, resilience management. Everybody here, I presume, has heard of risk management. We are actually now in a new field, resilience manager. That's my title. I'm one of the few people that has resilience on the card. There's another one over here. Maybe these three do now as well, but I've had that on my card since 2014. And one of the things that I need, what is resilience management and what tools do we need? Been working on that for a very long time. So developing resilience and sustainability as a resilience program, of course, that's what you do, and you need to collaborate with sustainability, but you also need to distinguish that there is a difference, and people don't necessarily understand that. I gave a whole presentation on the performance-based seismic design, so I'm not going to talk about that. Creating a seismic resilient pipe network. I'm going to show you a video if I finish here soon enough.
Show it no matter what.
Yeah, okay. And we're working on a resilient water supply task force. So that's the LA Department of Water and Power. We have our own aqueduct that imports water. The California Department of Water Resources, who I know we have a representative here today, they import water to Southern California. And the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California imports water into Southern California. They all cross the San Andreas Fault, as shown on this map here. And from the shakeout scenario, we learned that we're in a paradigm shift that when we built those things, we didn't understand that one event could take them all out. We now know that, so now we're all working together to work as one agency after a major event to treat these three systems as one regional system, and how do we get water to Southern California as soon as possible, any way possible. So that's a dynamic shift in where we have a city, a regional, and a state. We're not parallel, we're tiered agencies working together in unison. I don't know of other organizations that have ever done that. And we're working with fire following earthquake issues, and so we are working closely with the mayor's office, emergency management department, fire department, and others related to that. So
at LADWP, we're committed to delivering clean and reliable water to our customers. But what does reliable mean? It doesn't just mean delivering water when it's a nice 72-degree and sunny day. It also means delivering water when conditions aren't ideal, like after an earthquake. In a city as big as Los Angeles, that's no easy task. An earthquake can break some water pipes, therefore interrupting water service. That's why we're working to build a seismic resilient pipe network made up of earthquake-resistant pipes. Unlike our traditional distribution pipes, whose joints could possibly separate as the earth jolts around them, earthquake-resistant ductile iron pipes are fitted using longer joints that allow the pipe to move without separating. And if the earth moves a lot, the pipe will lock into place and then pull on the next pipe and the next pipe, like a giant chain allowing the pipeline to stretch and continue to be in service. In order to make our system seismically resilient, our plan for the future is to use these pipes to create a grid across the city. A seismic backbone. This will not only help provide even more reliable water for firefighting, this network will allow us to run lines to critical emergency services like hospitals, firefighters, and other first responders, so that even if other pipes break within the grid, we'll still be able to get water to the places that need it to serve the community during a natural disaster. These efforts are tied to the city's resiliency plans for lifeline systems and are being designed and executed in the most cost-effective way possible. The whole backbone will not be put in place at once. Rather, we'll map out the grid and install an earthquake-resilient pipe when the original pipe has reached the end of its usable life and needs to be replaced. This will allow us to create a resilient system over decades while still keeping costs down, ensuring that when a big one occurs, we'll have our services available to help those that need help right away, and also that we'll be able to get our city back on its feet and back to normal as soon as possible. To learn more, visit www.ladwp.com.
Thank you.